Good morning students, welcome to your computer class. I am Sunny, your computer teacher. So students, today we will move further with our discussions of the HTML chapter. So till now we have been learning about HTML tags, right? I'm sorry, the different tags, the attributes of different HTML tags. So what we are going to learn today is we are going to learn about the HTML heading tags. Now what are these tags? Before we start, let's do the recap of what we have learned in our last class. So in our last class we learned about the body tag, the paragraph tag and the break tag. So these were the three tags we learned about it in our last class. So today we are going to start with the heading tag. Now what is a heading tag? Now heading tag is used to define different heading levels in an HTML document. Now you can see the example on your right hand side. You can see there are different headings written there in different sizes. So altogether, if you count them, there are three different heading levels. Now if you also compare the size of each one of them, you would see the first one is the largest and the last one is the smallest. Now this has got the numbering system. So if you want to put the first example, the first largest heading one, then you will be using the tag H1, which is the largest size. And if you want to use the smallest heading level, then you will be using H6, which is the smallest in size. Now here students, there is only one attribute of heading tag, and that is align. That means how you want to align the heading, whether you want to align it to the right hand side, whether you want to align it to the left hand side, that depends upon your choice. Based on that, you can assign the you can do the alignment of the HTML heading tag. Now there is one more thing. When we are putting a heading tag, you would observe that there is a blank space just above the heading and one blank space below the heading. It is very natural. This is done to ensure the visibility of the heading level. So it is a part of the HTML programming language. So the next line, immediate next line, you will be unable to use it. So this is our heading tags. Next come is the font tag. Now the font tag is used to change the appearance of the text where it is to be displayed. Now there are three things which we will be talking about here. The first thing is the style, the second thing is the size, and the third thing is the color of the text. Now if you remember, when we were doing when you were learning about MS Word, or when you were doing practical sessions in MS Excel, there were points, there were places where you were using different designs, different methods to design the text, right? There were different fonts, like example Verdana, like example Arial Black, Calibri Body. So all these things which we were using, the same thing we can use in HTML language also. So that is our style. Now what should be the size of the font? Now here in the second, we allocate the size of the font. Sometimes at places you want to have the text of a very higher size, of a larger size. Some places you want the text to be in the smaller size. So that can be done in the size tag. And the last one is the color of the text. Now what is the color you want to apply in the text? It can be red, it can be green, it can be blue, anything. So these things can be applied here. Now this tag, font tag, is a container tag. Now I hope you remember the empty tag and the container tag. So students, if you are still not clear on empty tag and container tag, then I would request you to watch my earlier video, because this is one important thing which will play an important role on when we are doing our HTML practicals. Now there are attributes also for font tag. There are three attributes. The first attribute is the face attribute. Now this attribute is used to change the font style, like as I discussed. The second is the size, which will change the size of the font, and the last one is the color, as to which color we would like to apply in the text. Now, next thing, next thing comes into the picture is the HR tag. Now, what is the HR tag? HR is the code word for horizontal. So, if we want to insert a horizontal line, then we will be using the HR tag. Now, this tag is used as a separator between blocks. Like for example, if you are writing an article, you have finished writing one article and you want to write a second article. So rather than starting from a new page, you can just insert a horizontal line and you can start the next article from there. Now, there are altogether 5 attributes. There are 5 attributes for HR tag. Now, first thing, it is an empty tag. It is not a container tag, it is an empty tag. Now, what is an empty tag? I would request you, if you don't know what is empty tag, to read the chapter or watch my earlier video. Now, there are attributes also. The first attribute we are going to talk about is the size. What should be the size of the horizontal line? So, you can select 1, 2, 3 or 4, whichever size you feel should be allocated, you can select it there. Second thing comes is the align. How do you want the line to be aligned? So whether it should be from left, right or center, wherever you want to put the line, you can do that. Next thing comes is the width. Width is how thick the line would be. So based on the thickness, you can allocate sizes like 100, 200 or 300. So HR width can also be allocated in percentage. For example, if you want to put a 50%, then you would find the line being in the thickness of 50%. Fourth thing comes is the color. What is the line color of you want to apply on that line? What kind of color of the line you would like to see? So you can, for example, you want to put it as yellow. So you can use HR color is equal to yellow, and that the same color will get applied. Last comes is the no shade. Now sometimes you would find that this line is sometimes solid black and sometimes there is a slight shadow or a stripe across the page. So rather than, if you want to have any, if you don't want to have a shaded stripe or a solid stripe across the page, then we use the no shade attribute. So next comes is the center tag. Now what is a center tag? Now the center tag aligns the text in the center. So generally, can you take a guess, where do we use these center tags? These center tags are used especially in putting the heading or the title, or there is something which you feel you would like to put it there, then you can use the center tag. So it is aligned to the center by default. So the default setting of the center tag, as the name suggests, it will be center. Now this is also a container tag. Now you can see in the example, I have put a photo there where you can see the next line just below the example of center tag. The line which you see there is aligned in the center of the page. Next comes is the text emphasizing tags. Now here we will be talking about 3 attributes which are bold, italic and underline. So especially these text emphasizes tags are also known as physical markups. So please underline this is important. Text emphasizing tags are also known as physical markups. So the first thing is bold. This is used to make the text appear bolder. Italic is to make the text appear italicized. Now italicized means, I hope most of you know about it. Suppose you have written an A, if you use this italic, if you select and apply italics to it, it will slightly tilt towards the right hand side. The entire word or sentence which you have selected would appear slightly tilted. this is called as the italics. This is available in MS Word, Excel and PowerPoint, and I am sure some of the other time you would have used it in your computer. Next thing comes is the underline. Now this underline, if you want to highlight something which is very important, that is when we use the underline the text option. Now what will happen? Just under the word, it will draw a straight underline on the text. So next comes is the hexadecimal RGB value. So now students, here there is a chart of color. If you turn to your computer book and if you see page number 59, you would see there is a chart there where there are different colors mentioned with the different codes, right? Now the main three colors are red, green and blue. These are considered as primary colors. Why these are considered as primary colors? Because using these colors we can form some other colors. That is the reason they are called as the primary colors. Now these colors here represents the hexadecimal value. Now if you see in the picture, you would find some number like hashtag 00000 or hashtag 8000080, right? All these kind of a number. So each number itself is a code. Now here if we try to decode this, then it means the first two digits of that code, of the hexadecimal code, represents the amount of red. 00 means absence of red, so very slightly amount of, and 80 means is a slight amount of, some amount of red added to it. The second two digits represents the amount of green. What should be the amount of green added to it? For example, it can be 00, it can be 80, or it can be 08, anything. So that will decide the level of green which can be added. And the last two digits represents the blue color. So there are total three colors RGB. So each two digits indicates them, and starting we add a hashtag. So when we add the hashtag, and if you count the digits, it will total up to 7 digits including the hashtag, right? So this is the RGB hexadecimal value. Now the black color has got the hexadecimal value of hashtag 0000000. So there are 6 times 0. Similarly, the red color will have hashtag FF000 and 0. So go through the chart and you will get a better idea about what I am talking about. So next we are going to watch a small video of trying to understand how a simple basic HTML website is created. So we will move further and watch the video. So let's watch our video. It's video time. So we'll go and watch the video now.
Hi, this is Nick from Alpixia. This is the first HTML tutorial. HTML is a language for describing web pages. I won't tell much about it, but one thing you should know is everything that starts in HTML has to end. We call it start tags and end tags. Throughout this tutorial, we will use Notepad as our editor. You should know that all HTML pages start with an HTML surrounded with rounded angle brackets. Then, the head is the head part of the document. You can assign the title of the document which appears on the toolbar of the browser. For example, test web page. End the title by putting a slash and then title. End the head part and start the body tag. The body has all the contents of the HTML page. First, to assign a heading, you can put an h1 tag. For example, my first web page. And the h1 tag, and then to put a paragraph, a p tag has to be put. For example, my first paragraph in the p tag. Then when your content is over, put a slash body in angle brackets and then end the HTML page. Save the page as .html page. Minimize it, open the page. You will see that my first web page is the H1 that we used as a title, and my first paragraph is the paragraph that we used as P. H2 can be used as the next heading, a smaller version of H1. Save it and then refresh. As you can see, H2 is smaller than H1. That's all for this tutorial. In next tutorial, we'll teach you more. Thanks. If you like this video, subscribe and like.
So I hope students you would have liked the video. So we'll go back to our slides, and so you get a brief idea about how Notepad is used and how we created the web page. You saw it in the video. So we will be practicing this once the school reopens. We'll be going to the lab and we will be practicing more, and the next chapter which we have talks more about the advanced HTML. So we will be learning more things about it, on how to inserting the images, how to making bit changes, how to adding color to the web pages, and all these things we will be learning about it. So this brings us to the end of the chapter, and let's make a note of our homework. So here is our homework. Our homework would be, students, we are left with 3 questions here. Question number 4, 5 and 6. So answer the following. We will be doing these questions in our computer notebook. Our first question is, what is the use of face and size attributes of font tag? So there are face as well as size, so we get 2 points here which we are going to mention. Second question is question number 5, which is, how would you specify the thickness of the horizontal line? So try to give at least 2 points. You can also write the syntax of the horizontal line, and the last one is write short note on a center tag. I think 2 to 3 points should be sufficient to sum up this answer. So this brings us to the end of the class, students, and just in case if you have any doubts, if you have any questions, feel free to reach me through the comment section. So till then, students, stay home and stay safe.